Iron Man issue 4 finds Patty hearing someone chanting a prayer as Tony is mobbed by reporters outside who want to know what he's doing to get James Rhodes back, seeing as the man has gone missing. Feared kidnapped. Tony doesn't entertain their barked questions as he goes to visit Patsy, asking if the woman is okay. Patsy says she's fine and there's been no movement at Tony's place. The man is glad since Korvac probably figured out Tony knows he's been hunting him and it's why he's holding Rhodey hostage and why Tony can't get any help from anyone, otherwise Rhodey will be killed. Patsy knows that Korvac sounds pretty smart and might be as smart as Tony, but Tony knows the man might be even smarter, saying that he's a master intellect of the universe. But Patsy knows he dodged the question. Tony knows that she's pissed about something as the woman reveals her scarred face, thinking it might have something to do with that. Tony says it doesn't even look that bad and Patsy thinks that then maybe she should just go and book a photo shoot with Vogue then. Tony understands why she would blame him, everyone else does, but Patsy tells him that it's not like that, only it's been hard to clear her head since it feels fuzzy. Tony wants to focus on getting James back, but Patsy knows that Korvac killed most of the Avengers once, but Tony reminds her that they are still alive, but the woman knows that that's because the villain brought them back. Tony tells her that was when he was a cosmic entity and based on what he knows now, this Korvac is just a cut-rate android with lightning powers. Patsy thinks that Tony needs to do this alone, but she knows that he thinks this is a bad look for him, being Korvac was his investment and he handed over his money to him to make himself supercharged with the lightning rods. Tony wonders if they are back to this being his fault, but Patsy knows that it's not his fault at all, but she knows that these days, all he seems to be worried about is what people think of him. Tony hopes that Patsy doesn't think that he would hide the return of Korvac to save face, but Patsy reminds him that he said Korvac was only a cut-rate android, not some cosmic god. Frustrated with the woman, Tony asks her when she decided he would become her morality project. Patsy says she didn't, and Tony is just so good at subterfuge, so good that he doesn't even see that she likes the guy underneath all of Tony's posturing, since he has potential, and also her face hurts and she's in a bad mood. Tony says her face doesn't look that bad, but she reminds him it wasn't about that. Tony and Patsy share a kiss as elsewhere in New York, Rhodey is confronted by Korvac. Blizzard finds the stonework in the church awe-inspiring, but Korvac sees it as just mortals groping in the dark and reaching out for something they cannot even fathom. Learning from Unicorn that Taa II, the ship of Galactus, has been found, Korvac wishes to get underway, telling Rhodey that his destiny lies on Taa II and if he succeeds, he will be saved. James tells him that if he wants to be the big man in the sky, he should probably cut his goatee. Korvac reminds James that when the scales fell from Paul's eyes, he became one of Jesus' greatest servants. Rhodey knows that won't be happening to him, angering the android who tells his men to prepare the conduit as Unicorn and Controller keep an eye out for Iron Man and others. Blizzard asks why Korvac chose New York to transform in, learning it's because Stark and Walker are loose ends there and wants them tied up, and besides, if he's going to absorb all of the world's electrical plasma, he wants witnesses. Korvac says that Blizzard is there for his knowledge of electrical currents, and he knows the android's body possesses limitless capacitance, meaning he is the light of the world. Later, Tony tells Patsy they need to get the word out without raising any red flags with Korvac, and he has to be with someone Korvac isn't tracking, meaning no Avengers, X-Men or Fantastic Four. Patsy isn't listening, however, telling Tony that she thinks she can hear Korvac, hearing a small fuzzy ringing that's been getting louder ever since she was struck by lightning in Oklahoma. Tony thinks she's just hearing things, knowing it wouldn't be the first time, but Patsy knows that she's not schizophrenic this time since it's different and some things happening. Korvac meanwhile finishes his conduit, having tapped into the city's main power grid to power it. He hopes that they will be able to hold the magnitude of the current that they need, as Blizzard knows that it should work nicely since New York is prepared for the worst. Preparing himself for the final station, Korvac tells Controller to prepare for the attention that they are about to draw to them. Strapping himself onto the cross, the switch is thrown and all of New York's electrical power is funneled into Korvac. Tony and Patsy meanwhile head into the city to look for help, and Tony knows just who to talk to, knowing his translator glasses will help with the deaf street racer named Halcyon he met not long ago. Tony thinks that this idea is pretty thin as Patsy is overcome with a pain. She tells Tony that they don't have much time as the city's power goes out. Patsy suddenly knows Korvac wants Taa II, Galactus Worldship, as the villain awakens with his new power. Tony continues his search for Halcyon, soon finding the man who thinks he wants to race in the dark again, something he doesn't do. Tony says that he needs the man's help, knowing that the man knows he's Iron Man and this is serious, hoping Halcyon will help him find a list of people, most of whom are very hard to find. Halcyon wonders how he's supposed to do this, but Tony knows that he's the closest thing to an underground contact he's got right now. Halcyon says that he's not some criminal, he's a math major at Columbia. Patsy suddenly explodes with Korvac's power, having been taken over by the villain, as she tells Tony he cannot be stopped. Patsy blasts a nearby car as Tony dives out of the way, but Halcyon remains calm, using a hubcap from the exploded car to smash open a fire hydrant, blasting Patsy with the water and shorting her out. Tony asks how he did that, learning Halcyon is a mutant whose power is that his heart rate doesn't go over 70 beats per minute. Looking at the knocked out Patsy, Tony tells Halcyon to use the list and to find the people he needs to stop Korvac. Iron Man issue 4 continued Christopher Cantwell's awesome Korvac saga as the villain lays on the heavy religious undertones to his plan this issue. I love how slowly details on his plan are coming out and how with each new plot point the story just gets that much bigger. Now we're involving Galactus Worldship and Korvac trying to use it to gain more power and change the world. Tony's continual character arc of him trying to better himself and realize that the world doesn't always revolve around him is so much fun to watch unfold. And I love that most of this issue is just him sorting through things with Patsy, who again I'm happy didn't die in the last issue and is similarly becoming Tony's new romantic partner, and I especially like it since they complement each other very well, especially Patsy, who reels Tony in when his ego gets a little bit too big for him and she won't put up with any of his shit as seen in the last issue. I'm glad Rhodey is also getting involved in the plot now as well, and I'm looking forward to Tony reuniting with his friend as well as the drama that will no doubt ensue from that. All in all, this was a really great Iron Man issue and I'm loving the story that Chris Cantwell is telling with these characters. It's completely different from what we've had before and I love it. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.